are these people?
We're going to talk about some Indie Media Award honorees. They went to a press briefing. A funny thing happened on the way to the press briefing, or when the press briefing got going. Max Blumenthal was there alongside Sam Husseini. This was Antony Blinken's final press conference. And Max decided he was going to say something to Antony Blinken because this might be his last.
This speech is boring and paranoid.
Yes, it might be his last opportunity to potentially ever speak to Antony Blinken and have him know that it was him speaking to him. So I understand why he did what he did.
Hey, Blinken. Did you say Abe Lincoln? No, I say Abe Lincoln. I said, hey, Blinken.
Oh, hey, Blinken.
Hold the reins, man.
Seriously. That was Robin Hood Men in Tights, wasn't it?
It was Robin Hood Men in Tights.
That's great. I love it.
Was that?
That's great. Gotta love Max. That's right, Seven Sword. Yes, Max was awesome. All right, so again, Kevin Reed, World Socialist website, writes a nice article about it on Friday. This happened Thursday, or Friday night he wrote it, published it. Reporter dragged from Blinken's final press briefing for asking about U.S. support for Gaza genocide. Because after Max got carried out, or got dragged out, Sam Husseini then speaks up a few minutes later and asks a question, and you're going to understand why in a minute. He said that State Department spokesman Matthew Miller told him he was not going to have his question answered, so he figured, why the hell not? I might as well speak up and ask it now. And, you know, earlier, Jesse Jett in Speaker of the House, the song, says, you know, respect for the process. And Antony Blinken says to him, respect the process. So what happened? What had happened? Let's watch the video first. And Decensored News reconstructed it. Also, Indie Media Award honoree, just all around Indie Media Award honorees.
In particular, Jake Sullivan, Bill Burns, Brett McGurk, for their remarkable skill.
He's thanking
tireless
warmongers
dedication over these many months of negotiation.
Will you recognize the Geneva Conventions apply to the Palestinians?
And again, I'm happy to address questions when we have a chance. I'm happy to address questions in a moment. Thank you.
Answer it.
We celebrate the return of hostages in Gaza, including Americans, as we look to relief for the people of Gaza. I'm also thinking of all those U.S. citizens who are held wrongfully, who are hostage in countries around the world.
Do you know about the Hannibal Directive? Miller says he doesn't know about the Hannibal Directive. Do you know about the Hannibal Directive?
Again, I'm happy to address questions.
No, I want him to answer my questions.
I look forward to answering
questions. He's going to speak for an hour.
Okay, well, we'll let him speak. We're here for him. Thank you.
He gets to make lots of speeches.
you.
Let him answer some questions.
Let
him answer some questions.
Oh, Count Smirkula.
Another speech every
Sir,
day.
would you like to be escorted out?
Go away.
You don't have the responsibility to tell me where to go. Do you want to be
You
escorted out?
go away. Sir, would you like to be?
I'm a journalist.
No, I would not like to be escorted
I'm
out.
not a potted plant.
I'm a journalist. I'm not a potted plant.
In just a minute. Thank you.
Miller has
Which is a
explicitly
quote
told me he will
from-
not answer my questions. I'm justified in what I'm
I
doing.
forget somebody.
I have
I can't stop this
no
for some reason.
greater pleasure in this job than crossing off a list I carry in my pocket the names of those who have been arbitrarily detained and unfairly held hostage, unjustly held hostage, to their families, returning to their loved ones. Finally, I
Get
just
your
wanted
hands
to share
off
this
me.
morning.
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Answer a damn question.
I look
Do you know
forward to
about the
answering
Hannibal
questions in a few
Directive?
minutes.
Do you know about Israel's nuclear weapons? Everybody from the ICJ. I was sitting here quietly, and now I'm being manhandled by 2 or 3 people. You pontificate about a free press. You pontificate about a free press. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. I am asking questions after being told by Matt Miller that he will not answer my questions until I'm asking
Please, sir,
questions.
respect the process.
Respect the process.
Wasn't the point of the
Fuck your process.
The, May 31st statement to block the ICJ orders? You blocked the ICJ orders. You
Please, sir, respect the process. Thank you.
Oh, respect the process. Respect the process. Well, everybody from Amnesty International, to the ICJ, saying that Israel's doing genocide and extermination, and you're telling me to respect the process. Criminal! Why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague?
Why aren't you in The Hague, you fucking douchebag? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Sam.
Bookmark Husseini.org.
Husseini.org. That's Sam. Shout out to also Indie Media Award honoree Decensored News for putting that compilation together of a bunch of different angles, 3 or 4 different camera angles, including Ryan Grimm, who sat there and filmed instead of getting up and trying to help him. God forbid you fucking put the camera down and help him. Respect the process. Respect my nuts, Anthony Blinken. All right? So, before we get to my opinions and everybody else's, I want to give Sam another bit of the floor here. He says, first, no other major new U.S. news organization has reached out to me, which is fucking disgraceful. He said, I suspect they're desperate that the public not look at how murderous U.S. government policy is or think about what journalism should be. And what I said was, they're afraid to let you speak for fear of retribution from the Democrats and the donor class, weak as fuck by all the corporate stooges. All right. So, something else. I woke up this morning and I was still really mad, or yesterday morning, I was still really mad about this whole thing. And I realized that this was a psyop in a way designed to make us mad. They carried him out to trigger all the journalist community and to create this indignance and this anger towards the outgoing administration and Blinken, and set up this adversarial relationship even further.
Speculation.
No, I don't have to speculate. That's why they're doing it. They did it to trigger us all and get us talking about this for days and making this the story and not that, or at least part of the story.
Like not many people even talked about this comparatively.
Okay.
None of the mainstream did.
Because they were under orders not to. So what Sam says is that there are 3 things in this photo that virtually nobody else noticed, but I did. So one of them is right here on his leg. And he's going to talk about that right here. A few might notice the keffiyeh beneath my right leg. It's from my dad, who was driven out of the Galilee in Palestine in 1948 as a child. I told part of his story here at his Husseini.substack.com. Okay. May 15th, 2023. All right. He also says there's the pens and the expo marker in memory of the poet and teacher Rafat Al-Arir, who was assassinated by Imperial Israel on December 6th of 2023. His remarks to Electronic Intifada in the video below to understand the pen is mightier than the sword. And he says basically that if he had nothing left and they came to his home, he would throw an expo marker at them. But if they invade, I'm going to use that marker to throw it at them, even if it's the last thing I'd be able to do. You know what? I'm going to play it.
We know that it's very bleak. It's very dark. There's no way out. If there's no water, there is no way out of Gaza. What should we do? Like drown? Like commit mass suicide? Is this what Israel wants? And we're not going to do that. And I was telling some friend the other day that I'm an academic. Probably the toughest thing I have at home is an expo marker. But if the Israelis invade, if they charge at us, open door to door to massacre us, I'm going to use that marker, throw it at the Israeli soldiers, even if that is the last thing that I would be able to do. And this is the feeling of everybody. We are helpless. We have nothing to lose. We know that it's very bleak.
Jesus.
It's very bleak.
Hear that bomb dropping at the last minute there.
Yeah.
Those 4 from the Electronic Intifada. So there's the pen. And then finally, there was a third thing underneath that group. Here, let me go back. Finally, there's my laptops. You see the back of the new one. The old one that you see on the back of the screen, that you see the screen, has a Husseini.org bumper sticker on the back. If I'd planned this out, that bumper sticker would have been in the shot. All right.
Which they frequently avoid, like putting in frame.
Right. There it is.
There it is.
I wanted to bring up a photo that where it existed and you could see it. And he said that often there were times where they would not zoom in on other reporters because it would have his logo and his URL in the shot. State Department is so petty, they cropped the shot so Sam's website can't be seen. Yep. So, of course, here come all of the international organizations to virtue signal and decide that they want to pile on. And here comes the CPJ. I'm no fan of the CPJ because of the crap that they did over Assange. We're concerned that 2 journalists were moved yesterday from Secretary of State Antony Blinken's final press conference. They can't even spell his first name right. While we do not condone the interruption of the press conference, you don't? Forcibly removing the reporters undercuts the United States support for freedom of the press at home and abroad. So no, you would rather them have sat there quietly for an hour, shut up like good little boys, never gotten to ask their questions, and slinked away like nothing. That's what you would rather them have done?
Yep.
That's the Committee to Protect Journalists saying that.
Or usually dog shit.
So, so here comes Sam with a haymaker, and I love it. Thanks for the vague concern, but well-funded NGOs are so detached from reality. As I said, as I was being hauled away, they told me they had a policy of not taking my questions. As I said, as I was being hauled away, Blinken was basically giving yet another pontificating speech while overseeing a genocide. And after I was hauled away, what happened in the briefing room? Miller, who oversaw my getting hauled away, picked who got called on. They didn't even call on, and who was it? This is the other reporter, Saeed Arikat, right? Okay, who writes for Al Quds Daily, right? Decorum makes it so that the people who need the most scrutiny get the least, and I'm sick of it. Fuck yeah.
Which why let him in if you aren't going to ask his questions? Just don't. You have the ability to tell people there's plenty of journalists not allowed in.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. You are the representative of the people.
Remove his credentials.
Right. So that's the part of Sam that I got super upset. So then what happens is that corporate media, and there are 2 CNN reporters in the room, they decide to frame it as Blinken's final press conference interrupted by protesters. You fuckers. Okay, actually, it was by journalists dragged out after raising objections to Gaza policy, but Asal-Rad fixed it for you. Thanks. Look at the picture and then the headline. With 2 other journalists filming the whole thing on their phones, put the phone down and help
say
them.
Nothing.
Well, they don't want to get kicked out. What are they going to do? God forbid
the whole thing's being filmed anyway. So.
All right. Since CNN employs clowns to regurgitate Israeli talking points, they don't know what a journalist is. Gen X girl. I'll be talking to Gen X girl a week from Tuesday, hopefully, if all goes well. Here's our friend Sabby Sabs. Corporate media is creating a narrative about independent journalists. They're calling them protesters or activists. This is intentional. If they call them journalists, that sparks curiosity from the average viewer, and that's the last thing they want. Right? Again, you see the keffiyeh right there under his leg. And the pen right there.
Yep.
Try reloading. Okay. Oh, here's Fee. Fee with the video. Right? You can see Sam shaking, trying to hang on to the desk. He doesn't want to go. Let everyone know this is what the State Department does to a journalist asking real questions And this is what's coming for anyone doing the same thing. You won't see this in China, Russia, or Iran, though. Just saying. Of course, Fee joined Red Note, posted this on there. Follow her there. Just a heckler asking questions, says CNN. They have no shame, but we knew this. More people should see it, though.
Yeah,
okay.
Hecklers don't get let into the room. Like,
right, into the press briefing. Right. But even how it's framed. Man asking questions. Man asking questions. Credentialed reporter, as Kevin Gostola reminded them. And here's my take. I said, first of all, Sam, I know why you didn't do it. And this was underneath, he quote tweets Max and he says, following this, I tried to ask a series of questions, was carried out and handcuffed, completely excessive force, more to come. I said, I know why you didn't do it, but I was screaming, fuck your process, Tony, at my phone as he attempted to gaslight you while having you forcibly removed. Disgraceful what these clowns are doing on their way out. And kudos again to Sam, award-winning journalist. Independent, been doing it for decades. I mean decades. I vetted this guy. I researched him. He's an Indie Media Award winner, honoree for a reason. Right? Max's speech was great too. I think a lot of people have heard Max Blumenthal's speech at Tony Blinken. Allegedly, according to Common Dreams, he started this 3 minutes into Blinken's speech. He didn't let Blinken really start to go off. And man, did he call him out. It was great. But I do want to keep the focus on Sam here. So I wrote that I'm extremely proud of this guy today over what happened today in the White House. It was actually the State Department press briefing room. More disgraceful is that no other corporate news organization has reached out to him to tell his side, almost like there's a blanket order or because they're complicit in genocide. Hashtag journalism is not a crime. And I'm still waiting for Substack to pick up hashtags because at some point, all the posts I've written with them will work. All right. And Sam, I told him, you're welcome on INN anytime. We would love to share your story. And I linked to his Indie Media Award honoree page that we built out for him that has links to all of his profiles everywhere where you can follow and support him. All right. As well as the Zago Brothers illustration. Shout out to Lucio Zago for the beautiful artwork. Thank you to all the INN supporters for helping make that happen. All right. But I wasn't the only one who weighed in on this by all means. All right. T-Lav, all these so-called journalists in the room, meekly standing by as the real journalist is dragged from the room for asking real questions, are absolute cowards. Can't risk your access journalism. You're just plastic resistance, an illusion, and you know it. All right. Ryan Christian, Last American Vagabond, another Indie Media Award honoree on an inaugural class 2022. And here's Misty weighing in. Not at all surprising from a room full of journalists who stayed silent as Assange was tortured. Don't forget, we are all Assange, cowards. All right, Kivork saying, what's striking about the footage of Sam at the press conference is the absolute lack of shame or courage among the men in that room. Not one had the spine to stand up to a respected senior journalist as he was dragged out like an object. Jason Burmis. Now, the next morning afterwards, Sam said, I barely slept. And then he shared the Decensored news video. And I actually replied to him and said, I got about 4 hours, but it was honestly the first thing I thought about waking up in the morning, which is why I think that it kind of got to me. And I think it was designed to get to the people who have been closely following this every day. And it was so like penetrating my head and thoughts and beyond where it should have. Look, it's important. It is, but should it have been the first thing I thought about when I woke up in the morning? Still mad about it? No. Like, I gotta work on that. And this all has to have its place. But, you know, this thread also includes past deceptions from the State Department, like when they told him that they would give him equal time and all kinds of stuff. There's a really good thread from Sam. So check that out. And Jason Burma saying we need more people like Sam Husseini. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
Asal Rod asks a very interesting question. If an adversary was banning social media apps, using prison labor to fight fires, dragging journalists off for objecting to government policies and committing genocide, there would be calls for sanctions and regime change. So at this point, the U.S. needs to invade itself.
Agreed.
Very clever and agreed.
Yep.
Right? So finally, we've got here Roger Waters. We know that guy. Tell like it is, Sam. Respect R. All right. So I saw Roger over there weighing in on this. He saw it. He's showing solidarity. That's a Palestine.
You like calling the cat?
That's a Palestinian flag that Substack won't show.
Won't show on Substack? What?
And I'm gonna let
weird.
I'm gonna let
Zago. No emojis or whatever.
I'm gonna let Zago have the final word here. Real journalists, Max and Sam, are national treasures. And these are their Zago illustrations that he had put together for them. For the original poster, I believe, back in July, which was the Truth Tellers poster. And they were both on there, by the way.
Yep.
Awesome. Aaron needs a drawing too. Oh, we got one. And then this is the one that has everyone that he drew, except for one guy that's not on there because he didn't draw his face. Oh, right. I'm not on there. Right. I only had everyone there made. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Anyway, so that's what happened with Max and Sam. And journalism is not a crime. As scrolls across that ticker, it's scrolling right now, literally. Journalism is not a crime. These guys got hauled out of a press briefing for asking questions and challenging the narrative on Gaza and calling Antony Blinken a warmonger and an imperialist to his face. Max literally asked Antony if he was controlled by AIPAC and the Israel lobby and the Zionism. He was incredible. Go watch that. While we're waiting for that, let's put this up so that people know where to...
Our enemies are all those in league with imperialism. The bureaucrats, the big landlord class, and the reactionary section of the intelligentsia attached to them.
Where to support independent journalism.
That's what I was looking for.
Independent media and independent shows that cover, support, and amplify independent journalism that will tell their story and not let corporate media try to filter this shit through. All right. That's what we do here at INN. So thank you. I love you all. I'm so glad that you're here. Again, this is How Do We Miss That?
Can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.